All right, let's look at command window and workspace. Let's figure these things out. So command window is for doing math, declaring variables, these kind of things. So say we type in a equals 1 and b equals 2. These are now variables and they're saved in our workspace. So we can look at our workspace. These have our names of the variables, values, sizes. We can sort them. We can do whatever we want. We can also ask for more information just by right-clicking the top bar and asking it for, say, standard deviation, variance, these whatever class structure. This is basically what type of number it is stored in this variable. If it's a logical, say C equals A equals B, that's an advanced one. And C is a logical class. The value 0 is false. Right? So command window, this is where we do basically all of our testing. We do some quick math, we do some things like declaring some variables or whatever. We can import images, just play around, right? But if we wanted to do something like saving our workflow, anything we would do in command window, we can also do in what's called a script. So I'm going to right-click, new script, right? And I saved it as test.m. I can double-click on that. This editor pops up. This editor is basically the same thing as our command window. Okay, we can declare variables, a equals 1, b equals 2, these kind of things. Okay, but when we press enter, nothing happens, and that's because we need to run that script. When we run that script, it's like copying and pasting the stuff in the script into the command window. It runs line by line. Okay. We can also call these scripts by just typing in a script name in the command window. So let's say we output C equals A plus B. And we say we don't put a semicolon in there. That means that we'll display that answer. Say we run that, we get C equals 3. If we copy and paste this into the command window, we get the same thing, right? It's the same exact deal. Command window is a little different because it has a history that we can access. So anything that we've done in the past, say we did this C equals A equals B, right? These commands. We can access that by pressing up and down arrows. And we can kind of search for things we've done, right? We can also look at all the variable declarations we've had where we just started with something that starts with A. So if we just type in A right here and then press the up arrow, it'll search through our history and say like, hey, and you've put A equal times B, you've done IM reads, you've done A equals 1 just recently, right? So we can just do that and then press enter, and then it'll rerun that history command, right? So it's a good way to search for things that we've done in the past. Typically, these workflows with the script and command window, I'll play around with stuff in the command window, say like make a new variable D equals A to the B, right? I'm like, oh man, okay, I'll take dab. That worked. I'll put it up here in my script. I can use this command window as a testing ground for writing my script, right? So we can also clear these command windows and this workspace in the command window. So just by pressing CLC, that clears all the stuff in the command window. Clear clears all the stuff in the workspace. We can also write that in the beginning of the script, and I really encourage that. CLC clear at the header of our workspace, editor. And that says that anything that we declare down here, right? Anything that was in the command window, like errors or whatever, anything in the workspace that we don't really want to be, in the rest of our script, will be cleared first. And this way, when we rerun test on a fresh install of MATLAB, we know everything is declared. So, for example, I could type in C equals 2 in the command window, and then in my script, I say D equals A plus C, right? And that'll run. I won't run, actually, because I put these guys up here, right? So let me comment those out and do that whole thing again. So C equals 2. This will run if we don't have our header with clear CLC, right? It'll run even though we didn't declare C in our script. It's because we put it on our workspace, and that workspace still has access to that variable we declared. Okay, so we can declare stuff in a script, we can declare stuff in a command window, and that all goes into our workspace. But if we have stuff like clear CLC on the header, we run, it says, I don't know what variable C is. I can't do line number 7. So error and test line number 7. What is C? Oh, all right. So let's add C equals 3. All right, now we can run it. And if we were going back and forth, writing a script back and forth between the script and the command window, and hey, we wrote something in the script that we thought was there from the workspace, it can get a little confusing and kind of wrong almost. So you should always clear CLC. Okay. All right. One more thing here. Let's do A equals some matrix, right? In this case, I'm writing a series of row matrices together, right? A row is separated by commas. Columns are separated by semicolons. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3 on the top row, 4, 5, 6 in the middle row, 7, 8, 9 on the bottom row. Press enter. All right. We go run. Now we get A in our workspace is this matrix. Let's say we want to edit that, or we want to view that matrix after. What's the result? We can double click on the variable in our workspace, and it's going to pop up this variables window. And in this window, we can see all the values in our matrix. We can even change them if we want. Probably not a great idea, but we can. We can see the location of them. So in this case, column 1, column 2, column 3, row 1, row 2, row 3. So if I wanted to extract 5, 8 from this matrix, I know it's in column 2 and it's from row 2 to 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and extract some of these values here. So in A, I want to extract something. So let's actually make a new variable. E equals A, and then these parentheses allow us to talk about what we want to modify or use in that matrix. So we go row 2 to row 3, and that says 2 colon 3 says select everything in row 2 and 3, right? And then I want everything from column 2. So if we press enter, we can see that 5.8 was extracted. So if we want to select everything from all columns and then rows 2 and 3, we just use the colon with no numbers, right? So that selects these values from row 2 and 3, all columns. If we just say 2, 2, then that's going to select the element in row 2, column 2, it's going to be 5. If we go for 2 to end, okay, that's going to take 2, column 2, until the last column. All right, so it's going to take these 2 columns. So this said, give me the stuff from row 2, column 2 to end. So it gave us 5, 6. We can do stuff like, let's go to 1 to n minus 1, right? So it says go from column 1 to the end minus 1 and give us the stuff from row 2. In this case, it was 4, 5. Okay, so go ahead, play around with extracting stuff from these matrices, because images, right, are just matrices. You could say A of everything, every row, every column on the first data structure of that that matrix, right? So in this case, A was a 591 by 420 by 3. So it's 3 matrices stacked up in between against each other, right? And those were values of red, blue, and green. And we took out the red channel by selecting the first matrix, right, in that stack, by saying I want all rows, all columns, first matrix. Store that in F, and we get a 591 by 420. You see that? So if we were to then say I am show F, it would show us this image where all of the red values are now in grayscale. Cool. So that is kind of an intro to the command window and some variable stuff. Okay. Next time we'll look at some functions we'll use to do image processing.